This week in Jamaica Now. PNP wins back Aenon Town Division of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation. Policy shift.
Bureaucracies have become a stumbling block to growth, particularly in Western societies. And it is something that has to be looked upon in a very serious way.
The government says it's time to give priority to economic growth. 1-year-old boy dies in house fire after being left unattended with a 4-year-old. And a former Jamaican policeman is now the interim head of the force in the Turks and Caicos Islands. I'm Jovan Johnson and this is Jamaica Now. PNP wins back Aenon Town Division of the Clarendon Municipal Corporation from the ruling Jamaica Labour Party JLP in a by-election on Friday. According to Electoral Office of Jamaica preliminary results, the PNP's Delroy Dawson polled 1,646 to the JLP's Suzette Barton, who got 1,592 votes. Voter turnout was 46.7%. The PNP win means the municipal corporation is now tied with both parties having 11 seats. The JLP won the division in a shock result in February's local government elections. The Aenon Town defeat comes as the JLP heads into its annual conference on Sunday. PNP President Mark Golding welcomed his party's win.
I'm very happy that at the end of the day, the people decided to go with us. And I think it's a good day for democracy in Jamaica because it shows that clean politics can still win in this country. The people of Jamaica want change. They want a different course to move forward with different leadership.
And 3 other by-elections were also contested on Friday. The PNP retained the Morant Bay division in the St. Thomas Municipal Corporation. Its candidate and former mayor Yvonne Rosemary Shaw got 2,096 votes to defeat Winston Downey of the JLP, who got 1,978 votes. 37% of voters turned out. The JLP remains in control of the parish. And the JLP retained 2 constituencies that the PNP did not contest. Councillor Dwayne Smith has been elected to represent St. Andrew North Western in the House of Representatives, a seat once held by his father, Derek Smith. He received 1,863 votes to independent candidate Carl Marshall's 111 votes. The voter turnout was 6.2%. Former House Speaker Marissa Dalrymple-Philibert is on her way back to Gordon House to represent Trelawney Southern. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert received 4,146 votes to the independent candidate Lloyd Gillings, 1,434. The voter turnout was 22.2%. Mrs. Dalrymple-Philibert resigned in September 2023 after the Integrity Commission ruled that she be charged for declaring false information on her income filing. The EOJ will start the final counts on Saturday. And St. Andrew North Central Member of Parliament Carl Samuda said he was stunned on Thursday when JLP General Secretary Dr. Horace Chang announced that he, Mr. Samuda, would not be seeking re-election in the upcoming polls. Mr. Samuda, who has held the seat since 1980 and is the country's joint longest-serving parliamentarian in history, said that he does not intend to run for office again, but he said he was following a process.
The comment caught me totally off guard because I wasn't aware that an announcement of that nature was pending. The changing of a candidate or candidate stepping aside in favor of another is a process. In my case, it's a more significant activity because I have represented a constituency on both sides of the fence and been victorious on either side for the last 44 years.
Dr. Chang also said Mike Henry, the 89-year-old MP for Clarendon Central, who holds the record with Mr. Samuda, will also retire. Dr. Chang was speaking ahead of this weekend's annual conference of the JLP. Meanwhile, there is a rift within the ranks of the JLP in Manchester North Eastern over who should be its candidate for the upcoming general election due in September 2025. It follows the announcement from long-serving MP Audley Shaw that he will be leaving the political arena at the end of his current term, which ends next year. Mr. Shaw endorsed the councillor for the Craighead Division, Omar Miller, to succeed him as a JLP's representative. But high school principal Hadron Mikulski has also expressed an interest. He also did not attend a constituency meeting last week, saying he was not invited. Mr. Mikulski, the principal of Homewood Technical High School, was a candidate for the JLP in the February 2016 general election in Manchester Southern. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says his administration is exploring the removal of taxes on tips in the hospitality and service industries and revamping the tax credit system to incentivize companies to innovate. He announced Tuesday that those proposals are part of his administration's shift in policy from economic stability to growth. He said in 2013, Jamaica was on the brink of economic devastation with high debt and unemployment.
No other nation in the world has matched the scale of Jamaica's economic turnaround in just under a decade. From being dismissed, from being dismissed as a basket case, yes, Jamaica is now celebrated as a global model of resilience and fiscal reform. So today, I can proudly say on behalf of every Jamaican that we have accomplished the mission of economic stability.
The policy shift is built on 6 pillars: human capital development, economic diversification, infrastructure development, reducing red tape, improving safety and security, and fostering inclusive development. Mr. Holness says the government is to establish a committee to pursue the reduction of inefficiencies in the public sector.
The 4th pillar of our growth agenda is a national drive to reduce red tape and bureaucracy. That's what they wrote for me. But the 4th pillar is to destroy, tear down the walls of bureaucracy. I know both sides of the political divide shares a view. I know the business sector shares a view. Every single Jamaican shares a view. The Jamaican bureaucracy has become self-serving. It's there to cross the I's and dot the T's and has no concern as to whether or not the country grows. That must change.
Mr. Holness says Finance Minister Favour Williams will address how the proposals will be funded when she speaks in the budget debate next year, but he insisted that the debt reduction strategy will not be threatened. 2 members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force have been charged for the shooting deaths of 2 men and a teen boy along Windward Road in Kingston on November 10. Corporal Mark Roy and Constable Kelby White are jointly charged with 3 counts each of murder, using a firearm to commit a felony, and discharge of firearm in a public place, and 2 counts of perverting the course of justice. The men were charged in relation to the fatal shooting of 17-year-old O'Shane Stubbs, 19-year-old Orlando Campbell, and 20-year-old Kayshawn Smith. They appeared in court on November 19 and were remanded until December 17 when they'll apply for bail. Work was scheduled to start this week on a structurally defective 4-story government-owned apartment in Torrington Park in St. Andrew. The government made the announcement after one of the building's staircases collapsed Sunday, injuring a woman. Residents of 16 apartments were unable to access their home for some time. Opposition leader and Member of Parliament for the area, Mark Golding, said the incident should not have happened and that he had written multiple times to the government departments about the issue. But the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation dismissed his assertions and accused him of misleading the public. The ministry said it had been trying to address the structural concerns, but because of the location in downtown Kingston, there was limited take-up of bids. It said on Monday, the day after the incident, it received permission from the Public Procurement Commission to engage a contractor, with work set to begin the following day. Firefighters battled a massive blaze that has left millions of dollars worth of damage to the Azan's Supercenter warehouse and Pure Ice factory on Ashenham Road in Kingston on Monday. Officials say 90% of Pure Ice Factory's assets and all of the inventory Azan's Supercenter was storing for its Crossroad branch were destroyed. The cause of the fire is being investigated. And some 95 shops were destroyed in a massive fire at the Pernell Charles Arcade in downtown Kingston on Monday morning. The affected shops were occupied by 54 vendors. The cause is also being investigated. The fires come just weeks before the busy Christmas shopping season. An 11-year-old student of Denham Town High School in Kingston was stabbed to death on Tuesday. The student, Amari Coley, was fatally injured while on his way home from school. It's understood that a female student from another school used a tail comb to inflict a serious wound to Amar's chest during a fight. The girl is in custody. And the Child Protection and Family Services Agency says it has taken custody of a 4-year-old boy who was involved in a deadly Mountain View Avenue house fire on November 17. A 1-year-old toddler was killed in the blaze. The fire, which also destroyed the home and belongings of the affected families living at the residence, occurred when the 2 children were left unattended. CEO of the agency, Lauret Adams-Thomas, says the boy is deeply impacted by the traumatic experience.
Our first priority is to ensure the safety and well-being of the child. He is receiving care and will continue to be supported through counseling and therapeutic services to help him to process this tragedy. Children are naturally curious, but that curiosity can turn deadly if proper supervision is not in place. This tragedy serves as a stark reminder of the responsibilities we bear as caregivers. We must create a safe environment for our children and to ensure that they are protected at all times.
Retired Jamaican crime chief Fitz Bailey has been appointed to act as the Commissioner of Police in the Turks and Caicos Islands. The office of the TCI governor said the appointment took effect on Friday, November 22. The announcement came after the governor accepted the resignation of Edwin Martin, the outgoing police commissioner. The governor's office said Mr. Bailey will act as police chief on an interim basis while the recruitment process takes place to identify a new commissioner. Mr. Bailey retired from the Jamaican police force in September after a 40-year career during which he led a number of critical police formations, including the Criminal Investigation Branch. A month after his retirement, he accepted an offer from the authorities in the TCI to serve as Deputy Commissioner of Police for an initial 3-month period. And that's it for this edition of Jamaica Now, your weekly review of the big news stories. Send us your comments at onlinefeedback@gleanerjm.com. Follow us on X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Jamaica Gleaner, and on Facebook at Gleaner Jamaica. Like this video on our YouTube page, turn on notification, and subscribe today. I'm Jovan Johnson.